Be awesome to be a gay guy. It must be wonderful to be in a relationship where if your partner's being a dickhead, you can punch him in the head. Hasn't that got to give your relationship a whole new dimension? I can't tell you the amount of arguments I've had with women that could have been sorted out quicker with a punch. And while I'm on the subject of domestic violence, it's a horrible thing, of course it is. Now, you ever met a woman who's like been married like 4 times? And she's like, I guess I just choose the wrong type of man. I've been married 4 times and all my husbands beat me. And you're like, all of them, all 4. 1, 2, 3, fucking 4. They all beat you. Someone doesn't know when to shut the fuck up now, do they? Because I'm a tolerant man. I'll give anyone 3, but 4, you're a fucking button pusher. Am I right? That's a nice, cheery way to start the show. Be honest, we spoil you. Men don't give a fuck about kissing. Used to like kissing when we were in our early teens. Then someone sucked our dick. And then, what's this kissing thing? Why am I kissing this person? Why would I ride on the swings? I've already been to Disneyland. But we kiss you because we like you and we're a charitable bunch. Then you start kissing down the neck. Now, the whole time you're doing this, you're working downwards towards the cunt. Now, you know you're going to the cunt. She knows you're going to the cunt. Everybody knows you're going to the cunt. But for some unbeknown reason, you have to act like you're not going to the cunt and that you're enjoying the journey of this creature. Women, you gotta give them a journey. Men don't give a shit about a journey. If a man's driving from point A to point B, we fill the tank, we get on the motorway, we make good time, right? Where women, you gotta give them a fucking journey. You gotta take them by the water or antiquing or some shit. So the thing is, women read so many magazines about how to send your man wild and how to titillate your man and all these 25 steps to do all this. It's a load of fucking bullshit. Or you get a feather, involve food in the relationship. This is all bullshit. Play with these nipples. These things are fucking dead. They're dead to me. These mean nothing. You could cut these off and donate them to some poor African child without nipples. I wouldn't give a fuck. This is what we want you to do. Fucking suck our cock and cup our balls. And when you're sucking our cock, look like you're in a bit of pain because we enjoy it if you look uncomfortable. Anyway, but back to the lady. You keep kissing down. Now you're at the tits. Now, tits are a mixed bag. Some tits you gotta be firm with, some tits you gotta be soft with, some tits you can bite the nipple, some tits don't even go near the nipple. Tits are like golf, you play the course you're on. Then, you keep kissing down, now you're at the cunt. But even when you get to the cunt, you have to act like you're not at the cunt. You have to act like you've stumbled upon the cunt by accident. So you'll be kissing like a dimply bit of thigh here, and the cunt's there. Story picks up, ladies and gentlemen. Because I went, fuck yeah! And he went, but don't tell my brother, he wouldn't understand. I said, that's where you're wrong. I've known your brother my entire life. Trust me, he will understand. And against Dan's will, when Andrew came home from work, I pulled Andrew aside and said, Andrew, look, here's the deal. Dan's asked me to take him to a prostitute. I'm going to do it whether you like it or not, but I think as his brother, you should come along and help out. And Andrew went, we're not doing it. And I went, why? And he went, it'll kill him. And I went, he's gonna die soon anyway. This is a good way for him to go, like, sure, we'll have to answer a few questions. And he said, we're not doing it. And I said, why? And he goes, because Mum doesn't like you already. And I went, your mum's never liked me. That's why I'm the right guy to kill your brother. And he said, all right, we'll do it, but he can't have full sex. Full sex will kill him. He can only have a blowjob. And I thought that was fairly reasonable. So we went back in and saw Dan. He was where we left him. And we said, Dan, here's the deal. I know you told me not to tell your brother, but I told your brother, me and him are both going to take you to the knock shop tomorrow, mate, but you can't have full sex. You can only have a blowjob. And Dan went, I want full sex. And his brother Andrew went, Dan, you're in no position to argue with anyone ever. Then Dan reluctantly agreed. Now, prostitution in Australia is legal. So I spent the rest of the afternoon going through the phone book trying to find a brothel with wheelchair access. Best afternoon ever! Eventually I found one, the biggest brothel in the Southern Hemisphere, the Daily Planet, or as the Australians call it, 4 floors of whores. It's a 24-hour brothel because Australia's a go-ahead country. So we decided we were going to go early in the morning, like real early, like 6 a.m. We wanted to go when the place was quiet and we weren't going to cause a scene. So we wake him up at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's hard to tell if he's awake. And we get him in his chair. Now, he hasn't got your bog standard fucking wheelchair. He's got one of those big sort of silver-looking things with the truck tyres on it. I think the model's called a Hawking. And even though his muscles don't work, they get sore. So this thing can move him from side to side and back to front and even into a full bed. So we get him in the chair, then we order a taxi. And then it's not like you have black cabs out there. It's like a normal car, but they've modified the back to go higher. And they drive him up through the boot and they strap him in there. And he sits up high with windows all around him like a big retarded pope. Or as the Catholics would say, the Pope. And we drive off to the brothel. Now, when we get to the brothel, it takes 10 minutes to get him off the taxi. I see this as my window of opportunity. So while they're getting him off the taxi, I run into the brothel. Now, there's 2 ways that brothels work. Either the prostitutes will stand in a row in their lingerie and you just pick the one that you want. Or they'll stand around in a bar in evening gowns and high heels and you walk up to the one that you like the look of, chat to her for a bit, act like you've got some type of connection with an Eastern European woman, then take her upstairs and fuck her if you need your life to be this delusional. This is one of these situations. So while they're getting Dan out of the cab, I run into the brothel and go, everyone, quickly, gather round. I haven't got much time. So I sit back down, covered in vomit in the helicopter. And so I'm trying to look out the door to try to unqueeze myself. And I'm looking out over the ground over Baghdad. By the way, Baghdad, beautiful city, untouched. And I look out on the ground and I see a little Arab fella with a handgun shooting up at the helicopter. Just once again, I freak out. We're being fired on! The gunner now is laughing so fucking hard. He's laughing even harder than he's before. He's laughing so hard he's killed over. The gun's just dangling out in a hinge. And I'm like, what's your fucking problem, man? And he's like, Jim, you're gonna have to calm down, mate. We're in a military helicopter with a bulletproof bottom. That's a handgun. We're so high up the bullets can't even reach us. They just sort of go. And then I jokingly said, I bet our bullets can reach him. And he went, oh yeah. And the little cunt died. And I was like, I was just saying, mate. I was just saying. I didn't want to ruin anyone's day. Isn't that a fun... We got in this helicopter. And we're sitting in this chopper. That's what we call them in the biz. Chopper. And I'm sitting here, and I've got two soldiers sitting next to me there. My manager, Brett's sitting there. He's got two soldiers sitting next to him. There's two soldiers in the cockpit. There's a great big door open next to me there. And there's another door open there. And at that door, there's a soldier with a great big gun on a hinge with bullets coming out of it like that thing that Chewbacca wears. And we take off, and off we go to Baghdad. And as we hit the border of the city, I hear a great big bang! And these two small flares shoot out from the small wings of the helicopter, followed by a trail of smoke. And then the helicopter goes... Now, the reason they do this is when they get over the danger area, if there's a heat-seeking missile, it'll be distracted by the flares, and then the helicopter will fly out of range. Very clever. Now, they never told me this was happening. As far as I'm concerned, the wings have just exploded. And we're now plummeting to our death. And it's nice to know how you react under pressure. Because I reacted thusly by vomiting over my lovely blue vest, ironically making it more camouflage than it was before. And yelling out, we're going down! The two pilots, the soldiers, the gunner, they all start pissing themselves laughing. They're reaching through, they're high-fiving each other. It turns out they've been waiting for this joke for months. I'm cleaning vomit off myself going, you guys are a good one. Thank you for defending my freedom. In America, they employed someone to stand by the bar to make sure I didn't get wasted. Because Americans, they don't really drink like you people drink. Like they think they do. But they're very into, like, drinking games. Which you people don't really have drinking games. Right? Whenever, like, I'm out drinking in America, I always meet some, like college boy who'll come to me and go, hey, dude, ever play beer pong? And I went, like, what's beer pong? Well, you got to get a ping pong ball. You got to throw it in the cup. If you don't get it in the cup, then you got to chug your beer. And I'm like, well, let me just get this straight. I'm trying to get drunk. And you're putting an activity in front of me that may impede me from getting to my beverage. I said, they have a drinking game in England. Do you want to know what it's called? Drinking! And this is how it's played. What you do is, you have a drink, then you get another drink, you have a drink, 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 have a drink. You do this as fast as you can. And if you get so drunk that your friend has to drive you home, then you fucking win. How many more do you reckon there's behind there? There's a dwarf behind there mixing me a cocktail. I am fucking drunk now. All right. I'm going to tell you a story. This story is very long. The first 3 minutes of this story are very depressing. Just hitching up my pants. First 3 minutes of this story are very depressing, but there is a moment where this story takes flight. And you have to hang in there with me until this moment and trust me that the story is going to get good. I grew up at number 3 Turramurra Street. At number 5 was my two best childhood friends, Andrew and Daniel Connor. Daniel was born with a disease called muscular dystrophy, If you don't know what muscular dystrophy is, it's a horrible disease that wastes away at your muscles. It's the same as Lou Gehrig's disease or motor neurone disease, except you're born with it. You get diagnosed when you're about 6 years old, when you're not walking right, and they put you on crutches. By the time you're 10, you're in a wheelchair. By the time you're 20, you're in a completely vegetated state. Most people die before their 25th birthday. Dan's lived to be 33 years old, still alive and kicking. Let me rephrase that. Still alive. He's actually died 7 times in his life and been resuscitated 7. And I once asked him, I said, Dan, what happens after you die? And he said, nothing. So good luck with your religion and your faith. I'll take an actual statistic. Now, his family had since moved to Melbourne. I had moved to Great Britain. I went to do the Melbourne Comedy Festival. This is about a year ago. I hadn't seen him in all that time. His brother Andrew came to see my show, and then Andrew took me to see Dan. And I went in to see him, and I'd never seen anyone live this long with this disease, and he's laying on a bed. His eyelids are a muscle that he can't keep open anymore, and he's just squinting through these little things. And he has a breathing mask on him to keep his lungs working because the lungs are a muscle that he can't keep pumping. He has a heart monitoring machine in case he flatlines in the middle of the night and someone has to resuscitate him. And as soon as I walked in and saw this guy that I used to run around with as a child, I burst into tears. There's nothing worse you can give anyone in this world than pity, you know? I went in the corridor, I felt like a right prick, and I was fucking wiping my eyes off. And I went back in, and I sat with Dan. His brother Andrew went off to work, and me and Dan chatted for a while. 20 minutes into the conversation, Dan says to me, Jim, I'm 32 years old. I've never